Hi everyone, I'm Jen and welcome to class number 3 of Qigong. This week we're going to be having another look at the immune system, but this time via the digestive organs. Last week we were focusing on the lungs and how strengthening the lungs and the metal element helps to boost the Wei Qi or the guardian Qi, or another term for your immune system. But if you don't have good digestion and you're not properly able to get the energy that you need from your food, then you're going to struggle with generating that Wei Qi. So we're going to look today at the earth element, which is to do with the stomach and spleen, which are located on your left side under your ribs. And in our first class, we had a little look at the dantians. There are 3 dantians. The lower dantian we focus on a lot when we're breathing, doing abdominal breathing, and at the end when we're pulling down the heavens and gathering all of the energy to that energy center. Then there are a couple of others at heart level, middle dantian, and head level, upper dantian. But in an older conception of the energy centers, we had lower dantian, middle dantian here at solar plexus height, and then upper dantian at heart height. So the energy center that we're going to focus on today is this solar plexus center. Your solar plexus is just underneath your ribs and your sternum here. And this is otherwise known as the yellow court in traditional Chinese medicine. It's kind of where you digest everything, not just food, but kind of all of the thoughts and the feelings that you encounter during the day. The color that represents the earth element and the stomach and spleen is yellow, a sort of golden yellow color. So we'll be sort of bringing that into some visualizations today as well, and doing a lot of sort of bringing energy in here versus bringing energy in down here. Or we'll be doing that too. So with that, I'll crack on with it. We're going to do a bit of acupressure massage first. We'll start with Ren 6. Now you find Ren 6 by finding your belly button and then measure 2 fingers widths below your belly button. And then you can press there, you can press and massage. You can also knock, but I find it nicer to press and make circles. And Ren 6 is good for anything digestive. It's also good for energy issues, extreme fatigue. It's good for sort of mental and emotional issues. So it's a nice kind of all-rounder if you're just not feeling that good. I find it just very soothing. So again, it's 2 fingers widths below the navel. And you might think, well, what is a finger's width? Everyone's fingers widths are different. True. But it's measuring your own 2 fingers widths on your own body, because then that's in your fingers are in proportion with your body. That makes any sense at all. So you can switch hands if you like. Again, find the navel, 2 fingers widths below. Give that a bit of, I like to press and circle, but you could just press and hold if you like. Okay, now we're going to move on to Ren 12. And this is also located using the belly button. You find the belly button. Then you want to go 5 fingers widths above the belly button, again in the center line of the body. So belly button, 5 fingers widths above, press and circle, and that's pretty much in the solar plexus region. It's sort of ever so slightly below it. And again, this one is just a good all-rounder for digestive problems, any that you can think of, bloating, nausea, difficulty going to the loo. Good for all that stuff. I find my Ren 12 is a bit tender. If you find that too, that's okay. A, that just means you found the point. And B, that just means that it's going to benefit from a bit of massage, because it means that there's some stuck chi there, some stagnant energy that needs to be cleared away. Switch hands. So again, it's the navel, 5 fingers widths above the navel. That's how you locate it. Okay, so now we're going to have a look at spleen 6, which is another point that's good for digestion. It involves getting down to your lower leg, so if that's an issue for you, don't worry about it. You can keep massaging either of the 2 other points or just do some deep breathing. So you find spleen 6 by, you find your ankle bone on the inside of your foot. You place your 4 fingers at the tip of the ankle bone. You mark where that spot is. You put a finger from the other hand on top of those 4 fingers. And now where your finger is, that's on your tibia, on your leg bone. You want to move it slightly further behind the tibia, and you should find a nice tender spot there. That's spleen 6. So again, I'll recap how to find it on the other leg. Find your ankle bone on the inside of your leg, foot, words, all fingers widths on the tip of the ankle bone. Take a finger, mark where that is. Now you're on the tibia. You want to move slightly behind the tibia, as in towards your heel, not towards your toes. And again, you can press and make circles. You can knock. This point, as well as being good for digestion, is good for sort of women's menstrual issues. It's also known as a women's beauty point. If you want nice skin, nice hair, it's supposed to work magic there. I can't vouch for that. I'd have to do it every day and get back to you. I'm going to have a go on my other side. So again, ankle bone on the inside of the foot, 4 fingers widths on the tip of the ankle bone. And then you want to move slightly behind the tibia towards the heel rather than towards the toes. And press and make circles. Or knock. Again, this point is often tender. That's okay. All right. My favourite of all those points that I've been starting to use quite a lot now is Ren 6, so 2 fingers widths below the navel. I just find that just a good all-round point for everything. Like if I get a bit stressed out, it's also good for that because it can help calm the mind and soothe the emotions, and who doesn't need a bit of that? So we're going to move on to some breathing exercises now. We've been doing some abdominal breathing in the last few classes. This time we're going to look at solar plexus breathing. So we're going to bring the hands one on top of each other at the solar plexus height. So your solar plexus is just underneath the ribs and the sternum. As we breathe in and out through the nose, sort of gentle, slow breaths, see if you can feel this area of the body rising and falling. You can close your eyes if you want. See if you can focus in on this region. See if you can feel anything happening there. Just feel for a gentle rising and falling. See if you can slow the breathing down a bit. Okay, good. Now we're going to move on to chi belt breathing. And we do this by placing our hands on the sides of our bodies, just underneath the lower ribs. So you're sort of high up on your waist there. And we're going to, same thing, we're going to inhale and exhale through the nose and see if we can feel our diaphragm and the sides of our body expanding and contracting with the breath. And as we exhale, we can push the hands slightly in to sort of fully expel all of the breath. So again, it's slow inhales and exhales through the nose for this. close your eyes if you want, you don't have to. Okay, good. And release the hands. Shake them off if you felt a bit of tension created in your shoulders and your arms. And again, that's just good for bringing some breath and some energy to this earth center of the body, this digestive center at the solar plexus height, where your digestive organs happen to be. Next, we're going to do a breathing exercise called fanning the fire. Now, this one is a bit more exertive if you easily get lightheaded, if you have cardiovascular issues, if you tire easily, perhaps don't do this one. Also, if you've eaten food recently, don't do this one. You can go back to either of the other breathing, either solar plexus breathing or chi belt breathing, or you can do some abdominal breathing if you want for a bit with your hands at your lower abdomen underneath the navel. So for this, we're going to have hands at the lower abdomen. We're going to inhale through the nose. The inhale is fairly short and gentle, and then sort of do a sharp exhale through the mouth, through pursed lips, so like this. And we're going to repeat that in rapid succession, maybe 20 or 30 times. It'll look like. And as you exhale, you want to contract the stomach and sort of pull the tummy in. So we'll do that for a few rounds. And stop there. Take some slow, deep breaths in and out through the abdomen. If you felt yourself get a bit lightheaded with that, you can tap the head from front to back, forehead to the nape of the neck. I got a bit lightheaded there. I was going to suggest that we repeat it. I'm going to say no for that. What that does, that exercise, is it helps to massage the digestive organs with the sort of contracting of the tummy on the inhale. It also helps to bring a bit of heat and a bit of energy to the digestive organs. But again, not good to do if you've just eaten, or if you're prone to getting lightheaded, or if you have cardiovascular issues. So we're going to move on to a little bit of stretching, a little bit of movement of the spinal cord in the various directions it can move. So we're going to start with one hand on the lower abdomen, doesn't matter which one hand on the upper abdomen at that solar plexus height. And what we're going to do is we're going to try and keep this bottom hand where it is and see if we can shift the ribs from side to side, keeping the sits bones rooted down, keeping your bum on your seat. It doesn't have to be much of a movement, but see if the bottom hand can stay relatively stationary. It might move a little bit. And then we're going to take this motion and make it into circles. So we'll go to one side and forward, other side, backwards, side, forward, other side, backwards, and keep going. As you can see, I'm not doing too well at not moving the bottom hand. It's kind of difficult to do. You want to really sort of think about isolating everything from the ribs up, which is a bit of a challenge. And we'll go the other way. And again, this just helps to massage the digestive organs, helpfully bring a bit of warmth to them so they can do their job, and aid with peristalsis so that food moves along the digestive tract as it's meant to. It's hard to do. Okay, we'll stop there. I'll shake my arms out a little bit. Have a quick sip of water. You can always stop to have a bit of water doing Qigong. With Qigong, it's recommended that the water is just not cold, not refrigerated. That's not particularly good for you. It means your body is having to put a lot of energy into warming you back up. So like warm or hot water, or like room temperature water is best, because then you aren't having to exert effort to warm yourself back up. Next spinal movement we're going to do is a spinal twist, similar to what we've done in an earlier class, where we bring hands over to one side and twist. Rather than do that with the hands, we're going to hold them in a sort of diamond shape with your palms facing you, the thumbs are pointing towards each other, the fingers are pointing towards each other. We're going to hold this at the lower dantian height, sort of hovering just above the lap. We're going to take an inhale, and we're going to rotate to one side, and we're going to think about rotating from the lower spine, and then the mid spine, and then the upper spine, and then the neck last, so that we don't hurt the neck. And inhale back to center, and again the other side, lower spine, mid spine, upper spine, neck last. Inhale to center, exhale twist. 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 One last time, inhale to center, exhale twist. Good stuff. So now she consults her lesson plan quickly. What are we doing next? We're going to do a variation of a movement called separating heaven and earth, that's going to involve stretching the sides. So we'll start with our palms facing each other in front of the chest. And then what we're going to do is separate the hands. So one hand goes up, one hand goes down. The hand that's down is pushing towards the earth. The hand that's up, the palm is facing up, but the arm's not straight. There's a bend in it. We're going to lean gently over to this side, making sure that you root the opposite sits bone down. You're not coming up off your chair. It's just a gentle lean to the side. We're going to sit back up, bring the arms back to the original position where the palms are facing each other, and then bring the other hand up, palm faces up, bottom hand, palm faces down, lean over to that side. I'm going to turn that into a bit of a flow. Take an inhale here. Exhale, palms to center. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, palms to center. Inhale, stretch. Appreciate you can't see my lower hand, but it is just palm face down towards the earth. So inhale to stretch. Exhale back down. And we'll leave it there. Now, before we get into our purging exercises, just want to take a little rest. It's warm today. I think it's the warmest day of the year so far, and I'm already struggling with it. It's a bit ridiculous. So I'll take the time to cover a couple of things that I forgot to mention at the beginning. So we were talking about the earth and how that corresponds with the stomach and spleen, the digestive organs, how that's represented by the colour yellow. In terms of times of the year, last week we did metal and the lungs. That's the autumn. With earth, earth is sort of the late summer, in between summer and autumn, when you have that sort of in between liminal period. And it also corresponds to other liminal times of the years, like solstices and equinoxes, the former being when you have the longest and shortest day of the year, and the latter being when days of the year are of an equal length. And the energy that kind of represents earth, when that element is balanced in us, is like a groundedness, a centeredness, a sort of calm togetherness, a rootedness, as if you are rooted into the earth, like a tree. But when that energy center is imbalanced, you can get a lot of kind of uncertainty, worry, rumination, kind of getting up in your head, can't stop thinking, can't stop chewing things over, kind of anxious, kind of. So we want to make sure we get out of that headspace and get into our bodies so that we can center ourselves and ground ourselves and find that inner state of composure and calm. That being said, we'll crack on and do some purging exercises. So we're going to do some knocking. We've done knocking before, and what knocking does in terms of its impact on the immune system is it can help with lymph flow through the body, because lymph and the lymph nodes are a big part of the digestive system, and they not the digestive system, sorry, brain fog, the immune system. Bear with me one moment. Okay, apologies for the interruption. So lymph flow is very good for the immune system. Stagnant lymph flow just isn't generally good. You want it because the lymphatic system is like the detox system of the body, and good flow and circulation helps to prevent illness and infection and cancer. So it's really good to do a bit of knocking on the body, not just to move the chi, but to also stimulate the lymphatic system, which is good for the immune system. So we're going to start with knocking at the chest, knocking up and down the sternum. You can do this with fists, but if you're feeling a bit tender, you can also use the fingertips. And with this, you want to inhale through the nose, exhale out the mouth, like a sighing breath. Apologies if I'm bashing on the microphone here. We're going to knock down the inside of one arm, up the outside. Do that a couple more times. Use a slightly cupped palm for this. Down the inside, up the outside. Then do the other arm. Snap down the inside, snap up the outside. 2 more times. Snap the outside, the inside, up the outside. Shake the arms off a bit. I'm going to lift the arms and snap down the sides. Starting in the armpit, going down to the hip bone. Apologies for this dangling my microphone. I should move my necklace out of the way. That's bashing on my microphone. We'll do the other side. Next we will knock on the with loose fists up and down the tailbone a little bit, the lower back, to either side of the spine, not directly on the spine. And we're going to take that movement to the glutes and the hips, and we're going to slap down the backs of the legs and up the insides of the legs. Do that a couple more times. Down the outsides of the legs, up the insides, and down the outsides, up the insides. Then we're going to slap at the hip crease for a bit, sort of bikini line area. There are a lot of lymph nodes here, so that's good for stimulating lymph flow. And then we're going to do a bit of knocking that's good for massaging the digestive organs a bit. So we'll start with knocking over the belly with loose fists. With this, you want to try and think of relaxing your abdominal muscles so that the vibrations can really penetrate through to the organs. You don't want to knock too hard that it hurts. You want to be as firm as you can. I'm going to take that knocking up to the solar plexus. So again, just underneath the ribs and the sternum. It might be quite tender here. It might be a bit uncomfortable. For me, that feels a bit weird. I did just eat quite a big meal, so probably shouldn't be doing this just now. Never mind. We're going to come over to our right side, knocking on the liver. which is sort of behind the ribs on the right side, but if you knock just under the ribs, you can kind of give it a bit of a massage. Then we're going to come over to the left side, your left side, and that's where the stomach and spleen live. Knock just underneath the ribs there. And then we're going to knock in circles around the abdomen. It's coming up your right side, going down your left side. And again, that just helps to stimulate digestion. This is the way the large intestine moves food through the system. And we'll stop there. I'm going to do a purging exercise that's again good for stimulating peristalsis, so the movement of food through your digestive tract. And this starts with a bit of a weird suggestion. You're going to make T-Rex arms. So if I come to the side so you can see what I mean by T-Rex arms. Arms kind of like so in front of you. On an inhale, we're going to bring the arms into our belly. On an exhale, we're going to bring them back out and drop them down. We're going to inhale through the nose, exhale out the mouth. As you notice with the inhale, I make a slight abdominal crunch by tucking my tailbone under slightly. Exhale, drop the hands. Inhale. We'll leave it there. So that sort of crunching of the abdomen as you tuck the tailbone under and around the back slightly to bring in the T-Rex arms, that helps to, again, massage all of the organs and bring a little bit of heat to that region of the body. I'm just going to take my necklace off because it's interfering with proceedings. Okay, and we have one last purging exercise to do. We'll be going back to our old favourite shaking. But this time we're going to incorporate the healing sound for the stomach and spleen, for the earth element, which is a sound. So it's like H-O-O-O-O-O, but it's kind of guttural and deep. So we're going to shake the arms out a bit, get the wrists and the elbows and the shoulders involved. Your head might bounce slightly on your neck, and you're inhaling through the nose, and exhaling out the mouth with a sound. Inhale, exhale, and you can tap the heels into the floor gently. I'll leave it there. Pop the hands on the lap. Just close the eyes for a minute. See how you feel. See how you feel. I feel a little lighter after doing those purging exercises. I feel a wee bit lightheaded, I'm not going to lie. So I'm just going to tap my head from front to back again. Just to bring a bit of life back into my brain. Okay, good. And we can get into the slow flowing movement portion of our practice. We're going to start with a movement that's a bit more stretchy. It's called the arrow. We're going to bring the hands clasped together like so, with the fingers and the thumb pointing upwards like you're holding an imaginary gun. We're going to inhale, raise the hands above our head, lift the chest slightly, lift the chin slightly. Exhale, we're going to bend down, bringing the clasped hands over the back of our head and neck. Inhale to stretch up, slight arch in the spine. Exhale, bend forward, bring the hands behind the head. And repeat. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down, and I'll be quiet for a bit. I'll just do that a couple more times. I find this quite difficult on the arms. And then release the hands and just slowly roll back up, one vertebra at a time. Okay, I'm just going to pause for a minute. Feeling a bit squiffy today. I just need to have a bit of a rest. It's always good to take breaks in Qigong. It means that you can stop and see what's happening in my body. Do I feel any different? Paying attention to the sensations without judgment, which is very hard, because I know I can look at what's going on in my body and go, why is that happening? I've been trying so hard to manage my symptoms. It's not fair, but just try and notice what's going on. Okay, now we're going to return to separating heaven and earth, which we did earlier as a stretching exercise, but we're not going to do a side stretch with it this time, and it's going to look a little bit different. So for that, we started with our hands like this. For this, we'll start with our hands like so. So one hand is underneath the lower dantian, the other hand is at your earth center height, at the sort of solar plexus height, and we're holding a chi ball, we're holding a ball of energy. What we're going to do is we're going to separate the hands again. So the upper hand is above you, the lower hand is below you, palm face up and down respectively. And then we're going to bring those back to the center. We're going to rotate that chi ball so the other hand is on top. We're going to separate the hands again. We're going to inhale, bring the hands back to the center. Rotate the chi ball. Exhale, separate the hands. And repeat. Inhale, back to center. Rotate. Exhale, push the hands up. And if you need to speed up the movements that is in time with your breath, feel free to do that. You want to be breathing slow and deep, but you don't want to be making yourself pass out. And this is all inhaling and exhaling through the nose here. Once we finish our more exertive purging exercises that involve breathing out the mouth to sort of expel stagnant energy, and the slow flows are all inhaling and exhaling through the nose so that we can circulate fresh energy through the body. see if you can notice anything between the palms of your hands as you form a chi ball and rotate it. Do you feel anything in your hands at all during that stage in the movement? Do you feel any warmth? Feel any tingling? Do you feel like a magnetic sensation in your hands? If you do, that means you're able to feel the chi. You have two powerful acupressure points in the centers of the palms of your hands, the Lao Gong points, and when you point these towards each other, it's very good for sort of feeling the chi between the palms of your hands as you face them towards each other, or as you sort of draw them over the body, you can sort of direct chi through the body. You'll notice when we do pulling down the heavens at the end, we're sort of using those Lao Gong palm points to collect energy from around us and then direct it down through the central line of the body. So you might feel a wee bit of magic between your hands as you form a chi ball here. And we'll stop. Lower the hands. Just take a beat. See how you feel. Focus on slow, deep breathing in and out through the nose. Now we're going to do a motion specifically again for the earth element to do with digestion in the stomach and spleen. This is called pebble in the pond. So we're going to hold the hands like so, again at solar plexus height. We're going to swoop those hands out around us. We're going to turn the palms up and gather chi into the solar plexus area. Take an inhale here. Exhale, swoop the arms out. Inhale, draw them back into the solar plexus. And as we swoop them out and forward, you lean forward slightly. As you inhale, you sit back up. You can think as you lean forward of tucking the tailbone under slightly. This is difficult to do while you're seated. If you can't manage it, don't worry. It's difficult to sort of focus on the lower half of the body during seated practices. It's not vital. So as you exhale and sweep out, you're leaning forward slightly, tucking the tailbone slightly. And as you bring that energy into the solar plexus, you untuck the tailbone and sit back up. Exhale. Inhale. And you can imagine that you're skimming your hands over the surface of a pond. Then you're drawing golden light into your solar plexus area and into those digestive organs that live at this height of the body. Exhale. Inhale. I'm always weirded out by how asymmetrical I am with my arm movements because my right arm is my dominant arm. It's always a little bit higher and moves a little bit faster than my left arm. I always think, I didn't realise I looked like that. I look really strange. It is what it is. I imagine that's quite common. It's okay. You can close the eyes on this if it helps you to sort of visualize skimming the hands over the surface of water and drawing golden light into your solar plexus region, into your earth center. We'll pause and leave that one there. And for our final flowing movement, we're going to go into an animal motion, which is quite exciting, our first animal movement. So a lot of Qigong, I mean, it's a practice that's thousands of years old, was originally based on observing nature and its movements and its patterns and mimicking those, but specifically animals, and kind of embodying the energy of different animals, and correspondences were made between certain animals and certain elements. So the bear is often associated with the earth element. It's a sort of very solid and stable and rooted creature like the earth element, but it kind of moves with like a heavy awkwardness, which also can kind of correlate with earth. The earth can be related to sort of muscles in the body, and typically people who have more earth in them physiologically can be a bit sort of stockier and broader. So we're going to think about embodying a bear now. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to make bear noises. I don't even know what noises a bear makes. What we're going to do is we're going to think about shifting our weight from one side to the other, making sure we keep our sits bones rooted down. And as we shift to one side, we're sort of dropping the shoulder to that side and dropping the arm slightly. A gentle, slow movement, sort of shifting from one leg over to the other leg. It's hard to kind of do a weight shift when you're seated. Just sort of think about swaying from side to side and dropping the elbow. Then you can kind of exaggerate that elbow drop, and you can turn it into a bit of a figure of 8 motion. So that as you drop the shoulder, it's moved slightly forward, and as you bring it back up, you're sort of moving it further up. You're kind of tracing a figure of 8 with your shoulders as you lean from side to side. And then you can incorporate a bear's paw. So with your hands, you sort of make an OK sign with your thumb and index finger. I'll stop moving just to show you, like this. And so you kind of have a rounded bear's paw like so. And you can keep doing that motion with your bear's paws. You don't have to hold them up particularly high. I'm just doing it so that you can see. You can kind of keep them dangling down to the side. And this motion helps to, again, massage the digestive organs as you lean from side to side. You're sort of crunching and squeezing one half of your body, crunching and squeezing the other half. You want to think with this about your connection with the feet on the earth. Try and see if you can feel yourself rooted down. This is a bit of a different beast if you're standing, because then you kind of really sink from one side to the other in your feet. We can't focus on that so much, but we can focus on the upper body movement, and we can bring our attention into the soles of the feet and their connection with the ground. Maybe try and feel whatever the surface is that's underneath your feet. Is it carpet? Is it laminate? Is it warm? Is it cold? See if we can feel that connection to the earth. Okay, good. Now we're just going to do a gentle movement just to kind of circulate the energy through the body. What is it called? It is called wave flow. Okay, so with this, we're going to be sort of drawing a circle around the body. So inhaling like so, and exhaling like so. Inhaling, the backs of the hands face each other. Exhaling, it's like they're tracing a circle around in front of you. Inhaling, just like wave up the spine as you come up. Exhale, slight tuck of the tailbone, slight lean forward. Inhale, wave the spine up slightly. Exhale, tuck the tailbone under. It's difficult to do the sort of spinal wave and the tailbone tuck when you're seated. If that's too much to incorporate, don't worry about it. Just think about inhaling up and exhaling down, and imagine you're just sort of circulating all of the energy that we've cultivated through the body. And it's just a kind of gentle, soothing, rocking motion. Inhale up, exhale down. Okay, we'll move straight into pulling down the heavens. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, arms down. So this is what I was talking about earlier with the Lao Gong points in the center of the palms. We're gathering up the energy with those points, and then we're sending it through the central column of the body, through the head, down through the chest, and down to the lower dantian in this region where we hope for it to collect and gather, that we can draw on this energy reserve later. Exhale down the center, again all in and out through the nose. Imagine scooping energy up from around you. You can think of it as a color if you want, as a texture, as a sound, as whatever you want it to be, as butterflies, birds, bubbles. Just imagine bringing that quality of energy that you feel you need in through your head, down your central channel, into your lower abdomen, where it gathers. And perhaps as it gathers there, it glows brighter, or it gets louder or more bubbly, whatever it is that you've been visualizing. And stop. Put your hands on your lap for a bit. Stop and feel. Abdominal breathing in and out through the nose. And then we're going to do an exercise called yin massage. For that, you might want to watch me for the first couple of goes through before attempting it yourself, just because there's a few things to bear in mind. So we start by inhaling, arms in prayer position above the head. We exhale, bring the hands to the back of the neck, swoop the hands around the neck so that the backs of the hands are facing each other. We glide down the center line, apologies for the microphone, at the solar plexus height. We inhale, we draw the hands round to the back, and then we want to rub the back, just breathing normally here for a while. Rub up and down the back. Here we're massaging the kidneys and the tailbone, and if we can, getting up to sort of the ribs and the lungs a bit, just massaging the organs. Then on an exhale, we're going to slide the hands down the backs of the legs. Inhale, slide the hands up the inside of the legs, and just finish with some abdominal circles, breathing normally here. All through the nose, in and out through the nose. Now we're going to repeat. So inhale, hands in prayer position above you. Going to bring those prayer hands behind the back of your neck. Separate the hands and slide them around the neck so that eventually the backs of the hands face each other. Slide them down. Inhale around the body at solar plexus height. Then exhale and just keep breathing here as you rub the lower back. Give yourself a nice massage. And then on an exhale, slide the hands down the backs of the legs to the feet, then up the insides of the legs for an inhale, and then circle at the belly and just breathe naturally for a bit. I'm going to repeat that one more time. If the knocking that we did at the beginning was a kind of yang, more energetic stimulation of the meridians and the lymph system, this is a more sort of gentle yin version of that. So we're inhaling, gathering the energy in our hands. We're going to bring that energy down around the back of the neck. For an exhale, inhale, draw it around the solar plexus into the back. Rub, rub, rub for a bit, breathe normally. Then for an exhale, down the sides and backs of the legs to the feet and up the insides for an inhale, and circle the belly here. We're going to close just with a bit of digestive massage, just to give those organs even more love. As I haven't had enough yet. Gentle fists. I'm going to start at the solar plexus height and drag those fists down to the pubic bone, just through the center line of the body. You can experiment with pressure here. I like to go quite firm. You really get some results. And that's not just stimulating the digestive organs, it's also stimulating lots of acupressure points run down the central channel, like we were doing Ren 6 earlier, 2 fingers widths below the navel, Ren 12, 5 fingers widths above the navel. Those and many others are located here, so it helps to stimulate those. And we'll part the fist slightly so that we're coming around to like the sides of the body. This just feels really, really nice. And it can really help sort of as an alternative to making circles. If you've got some digestive issues, you can bring them back to the center. Come back out again. Just do that for a while. And then we will do our trusty circles with our fist up your right side, down your left side. And release. And there we are. We've done our class for digestion, for the earth element, for the digestive organs, also for the immune system, because we were starting last week with the lungs and how they impact the immune system and how they bring energy into the body through the lungs, through inhaling, through oxygen. But the other main source of energy we get is through our food. And to build that Wei Qi, to build that guardian Qi, that immune system strength, we also need good digestion. So that's why we've been focused on digestion today, but also because I imagine you, like me, have many digestive symptoms. And so a lot of these exercises can help, and you don't have to do the full routine. You can just pick and choose a few exercises. You can just do a bit of massage. And I'm going to be recording a shorter version if you're more pressed for time or energy. So I will see you next week. Bye bye.